And coal miners, let's break that down, shall we? Because if your single mother needs to work and her child attends a school, she might need access to something like Wings for Kids, an after-school programme that serves 1,600 children in 3 states. And guess what?
Under President Trump's new proposed federal budget, Wings' primary source of funding would be eliminated. Bridget Laird is the CEO.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel devastated.
Jessica Williams has 2 daughters in the program.
What happens if it goes away?
I really don't know how I could. I really don't know. I will be lost.
OK, so that is a really bad cut. And again, I say that as a man who no one stopped from going into a Supercuts with a photo of Demi Moore in Ghost and saying, this, but worse. And as for Mick Mulvaney's hypothetical coal miners, let's take a look at what Trump's budget cuts from the Appalachian region.
One of those programs at risk of losing all funding is the Appalachian Regional Commission, which funded 35 different projects and programs in Tennessee alone last year.
35 programs in just Tennessee. And that list includes things like the Healthier Tennessee Communities Initiative, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Tennessee Valley, and the Governor's Books from Birth Foundation, all of which contain so many positive words. I'm presuming that also in line for cuts are the Kids Kitten Hard Hat Alliance and the Grandma's Wish Coalition for warm cookies straight from the oven. The cookies will be thrown away, the grandma will be put down. And by the way, those cuts are coming in a state that went for Trump, which leads us to the weirdest thing of all here. Some of the cuts in Trump's budget heavily impact groups that voted for him.
The one that strikes me is rural airports. We spend money to help subsidize rural airports where they otherwise couldn't have air service. Now, maybe that doesn't make any sense in an ideal world. Maybe on principle that's a bad thing. But the people who are going to lose their airports if we stop doing that are the people who voted for Donald Trump.
So think about that. Trump's rise was fueled by people in red states who were justifiably irritated that Liberals sometimes refer to them as flyover country. But this budget could literally turn some of them into flyover country because there would be no other option. And even some Republicans are now wary of this budget. Hal Rogers, a Republican and former chair of the House Appropriations Committee, went so far as to call many of the cuts draconian, careless and counterproductive. And a Republican saying that about budget cuts is like a toddler telling you, this balloon fucking sucks. Really? I really thought you liked those. And look, Trump's defenders will say that this is just him being a businessman. It's a first offer, it's a negotiation, the sort of thing that you could learn all about in his book, The Art of the Wait, I seem to be betraying everyone who supported me. Oh, well, forget it. Anyway, let's talk about all the trim I got in the 80s, right, fellas? Hungermonger. But if anything resembling this budget passes, many of Trump's own voters will likely wind up getting burned, and they are going to be angry, and Trump himself should know that, given that, in The Art of the Deal, he said this.
You can't con people. At least not for long. You can create excitement, you can do wonderful promotion and get all kinds of press. And you can throw in a little hyperbole. But if you don't deliver the goods, people will eventually catch on.
Oh, I think people are catching on. It's taking longer than is perhaps ideal, but I think pretty soon all of us will be fed up, right up to the tippy fucking top. And now, this.
And now, a special St. Patrick's Day moment from Fox and Friends.
Today's St. Patrick's Day, so we'll be celebrating throughout, but it doesn't mean... What did you just do?
I just moved the leprechaun. I didn't realize there was a leprechaun behind me.
Sitting between us.
Remember a couple of years ago when we actually had a leprechaun on the show with Judge Napolitano sat on his lap?
Right. I don't think that video's available anymore.
Oh, you wish that video wasn't available.
Let's go over to Judge Andrew Napolitano with a special...
Hey, I got my new buddy here from the University of Notre Dame.
How are you, Judge?
Howdy, O'Reilly. Good to see you.
Oh, what a fun memory.
We hired this leprechaun off of Craigslist.
There's your first mistake.
And you know what? You get exactly what you pay for.
Fuck you.
And finally this week, before we go, I know the world is a bleak place right now, so we wanted to leave you with a happy story, and it involves Bolivia. A country you think about so little, you don't even realise that's not Bolivia, that's Colombia, except it isn't, that's Venezuela.